Hello and welcome back to the Canaries Chat Football channel. Today we have a tier list video going through the most expensive transfers in the Premier League in the summer. So we're going to go through them all, give our opinions. As always, leave a comment down below as well. Let's see if you agree or disagree with me, and obviously make sure to subscribe to see more tier lists and things like that in the future. But we are kicking it off with Xavi Simons. So 65 million euros came over from Leipzig to Tottenham to try and solve their creative kind of difficulties with obviously Maddison injured, Kulusevski injured, Kudos was coming over, and we were all kind of expecting kind of maybe a little bit of settling in period for him. Xavi Simons has come in and yeah, not set the world alight. He is obviously young. He just seems at the moment, I'd argue, maybe not physically ready for the Premier League, but that will definitely come over a bit of time, I'd say. Does he seem to kind of suit the Spurs system? I don't think so. I think under a different manager, we could see a different Simons, but the way that Frank plays, I don't think he actually plays to Xavi Simons' strengths. So the tiers that we've got is obviously world class, good, okay, needs time, and move on. For me, even though he's a 65 million euro pound player, I'm putting him in needs time. I think under a different manager, we could see a different Simons. We've seen him rip it up for Leipzig. We've seen him do well for the Dutch national team as well. So for me, needs more time. We then have Gyökeres, so just under about 66 million euros from Sporting to Arsenal, won the Gerd Muller Trophy for the best striker in the world because of his goal scoring record. We all thought he would come in and solve Arsenal's issues around striker. They've obviously had Jesus, who was injury prone, Kai Havertz, he wasn't really a striker to start with, he was more kind of a false nine. We all thought if they have a bit of a fox in the box, they'll absolutely rip it up. They are ripping it up, they are doing very well in the league. Is that down to Gyökeres? No. He's nearly the opposite of Simons. He does look physically prepared for the Premier League. He is very strong, he's fast, but he just doesn't seem as prolific as what he was. Is it the change of calibre? The kind of differences between the Portuguese league and the Premier League are huge. Maybe he wasn't ready for that bigger step up. Maybe he can't handle the pressure of that price tag coming over. Who knows? But for me, Gyökeres is going in okay. Probably a little bit of time to turn it around at this point, but it is a little bit worrying for me that he hasn't, unlike Simons, who's in a struggling Spurs side. Arsenal are top of the league, smashing it, and he's not part of that. So we then have Eze, just under 70 million euros. He's come from Palace to Arsenal, so didn't have to worry about that step up or change in league. He's obviously had that hat trick in North London derby, but he has arguably been slightly, I wouldn't say purple patch, but he either has a very good game or he doesn't. There isn't a little bit kind of an in between. His best position for me is playing where Odegaard is, and I think we got the best out of him when Odegaard wasn't fit and injured. He's going in good for me. He's, as I said, a very good player. If he was as consistent as what he was in that Spurs game for the whole season, then he'd been world class. But I couldn't have him and Gyökeres, I think, in the same tier just because of how good Eze's been. But that is two Arsenal players. There is then a third Arsenal player, which then proves how much Arsenal spent in the summer, and that is Zubimendi, 70 million euros, Sociedad to Arsenal. He, for me, has been the best signing Arsenal have made out of those three, and he's, again, for me, the best signing in the Premier League this year. He's ridiculously good at reading the game, passing, his defensive contributions, his partnership with Rice, Gabriel and Saliba is what made Arsenal so solid at the back, and they went on that unbelievable run of clean sheets. He just reads the game impeccably. He's everything that you want for a partner for Declan Rice in regards to letting Rice have a little bit more freedom to push up the pitch and contribute more in those kind of the attacking thirds. I think Zubimendi is what Arsenal have been screaming out for. for that pairing, for Rice, for me, he is going in world class. We then have Cunha, just under 75 million euros, came from Wolves to Man U. There's quite a few big transfers between Premier League clubs in the summer. He's got 3 goals, 1 assist this season. He seems to be hitting the ground a bit more now. For me, it's a little bit late for that. Like the difference between him and Mbeumo, I think Mbeumo was just a bit quicker to get started. I do think he could help solve Man United's issues. He's one of those players who's very self-confident and believes he can be one of the main men at Man United. And I do think you need to be that kind of mindset to really excel at Man U. So it's not to say that he can't go on to do that, but looking at everyone else, I put him in a little bit similar bracket to Gyökeres, and we'll be putting him in okay. And then we go on to the next Man U signing, which was Mbeumo, which a little bit more, only tiny, well I say tiny, there's about 800,000 euros, but in football terms only a little bit more for him. Came from Brentford, 6 goals, 1 assist, hit the ground running a bit quicker. I think they're going to miss him a bit during the AFCON, and I think he's, again, another one of those players that if you can get Cunha and Mbeumo ticking, they could be onto something really good. But Mbeumo was just a bit quicker to it, and again, like I wouldn't feel comfortable Cunha and Mbeumo being in the same tier. So Cunha then goes into the good tier. We then have another 75 million euro player. It is Voltemade from Stuttgart to Newcastle. 7 goals, 1 assist. Big boots to fill in regards to Isak. He is tracking relatively similar to Isak last year. However, Isak did then have that unbelievable purple period in the second half of the season. So will he do that? I very much doubt it. He is doing a good job, even if he has screwed me over sometimes in fantasy football. However, I just don't think he's at kind of that Isak level that Arsenal needed. But with Vissa coming in, there could be an opportunity for him to feel like he drops deep quite a lot to pick up the ball. If Vissa can then kind of maybe plug that gap or provide a little bit more link-up play, we could see the best of Voltemade to come as of yet. So I've put him in good. I still think 7 goals, 1 assist, very decent. Newcastle haven't been firing on all cylinders either, so I still think that's decent. We have Sesko, so yeah, just a bit more than 75 million euros. Leipzig to Man U, he just really is struggling to make an impact, in my opinion. I think he hasn't scored many goals at all this year, and it just seems that main striker role at Man United for a young player is just a bit too much to wear. The players that have done well recent years, the likes of Zlatan, Cavani and players like that, obviously have older heads coming in that seem to be able to handle that a bit more. Xerxes, Højlund, Sesko haven't handled it well. I would like him to come good. Do I think he will? Not overly, so it's not even a needs more time situation. I've just gone okay, and the fact that he is young saves him from the move on category, in my opinion. You then have Ekitike, so 95 million euros from Frankfurt to Liverpool. Liverpool spending an unbelievable amount in the summer. They brought Ekitike in to try and enforce Newcastle's hand within the Isak signing, because they were going to go after Ekitike if they were going to sell Isak. And then obviously Liverpool came in anyway for Isak. I think everyone thought Isak was going to be the main man. He did come in, well, Ekitike did come in, had a great start. Then a very quiet period, and then has now picked it back up again. 8 goals, 2 assists, but that dry spell for me is taking him just slightly away from that world-class spot. So, yeah, I'd put him in good. I think he's a very good signing, and I think he's surprised people that how good he is, that he's then keeping out the likes of Isak. Even when Isak was fit, he was still keeping him out of the squad, out of the starting lineup. So the next one is another Liverpool player, 125 million euros. That's Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen to Liverpool. He looks like he's slowly getting up to speed, but for me, for 125 million euros, you want an instant impact. You want someone that can immediately make an impression on the squad. That hasn't happened yet. I'm going to put him in needs time because I do think he's a very good player. I was a big fan of him when he was in the Bundesliga, but again, another player failing to settle in to the world that is the Premier League. And then the last one on our list, 145 million euros. Alexander Isak from Newcastle to Liverpool. And yeah, it's a really hard one because of his injuries. He missed pre-season. It took ages for him to get fit. He's then got injured. He could, I think everyone thought with them signing Isak, Wirtz, Ekitike, Frimpong, Kirkesh, like we thought they're just going to walk the league. They haven't. It's hard to judge Isak at this point in time due to the injuries. I think he could have been a world-class signing if he came over fully fit. However, when he has played, he hasn't set the world alight. He has got the odd goal, and for that price tag, you're hoping nearly close for Haaland numbers. So I'm gonna have to put Isak in okay, and that brings us to the end of the tier list. So as always, leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts? I'm sure some of you disagree with me, but leave a comment down below on what you would change. As always, leave a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the videos. There are plenty more to come, and yeah, we'll see you very soon.